I know the best people. I know the best managers. I know the best deal makers. I know people that will make us so strong. I know guys that are so good.
That was then presidential candidate Donald Trump back in 2015, boasting that he would only hire the best people as president. Now, after winning the presidency a second time, he is facing tremendous fallout over his pick to lead the Pentagon, former Fox News host Pete Hegseth. Hegseth faces an uphill confirmation battle for defense secretary as he is bogged down by scandal after scandal. This week, a new bombshell report from The New Yorker alleged that he was forced to step down from two veteran nonprofit groups, Veterans for Freedom and Concerned Veterans for America, amid accusations including a whistleblower report by former employees of one of their groups to their managers of financial mismanagement, sexual impropriety, and other disqualifying behavior, including allegations that Hegseth, who was married at the time, and other members of his management team sexually pursued the organization's female staffers, whom they divided into two groups, the party girls and the non-party girls. The report also alleges that under Hegseth's leadership, Veterans for Freedom ran up enormous debt, and financial records indicate that by the end of 2008, it was unable to pay its creditors. NBC News has not seen the whistleblower report or the letter of complaint cited by The New Yorker. After a request for comment, Hegseth's lawyer referred NBC News to a statement it provided to The New York Times in which an unidentified Hegseth advisor called the claims outlandish. Now, Hegseth's behavior at Fox News has also come under scrutiny. 10 current and former Fox News employees told NBC News that he drank in ways that actually concerned his colleagues. Two of those Fox News employees said that on more than a dozen occasions during Hegseth's time as co-host on Fox and Friends Weekend, they smelled alcohol on him before he went on the air. Spokesperson for the Trump transition team has called the allegations unfounded and false. Fox News did not respond to requests for comment, but Hegseth said this week that he doesn't have a drinking problem. Now, this pileup of controversy could put his nomination in jeopardy, even among Republicans. Here's what Senator Joni Ernst of Iowa said earlier today about Hegseth to my colleague, Courtney Kube.
So I'm excited to have the opportunity to sit down with him again. But there will be a very thorough vetting before he moves forward. So look forward to seeing him in front of the committee as well. And I know that he'll be there and have to answer some very tough questions.
Of course, Trump is still standing by Hegseth, though posting on Truth Social, Pete is a winner, and there is nothing that can be done to change that. Hegseth isn't the only Trump pick in peril. There's also the matter of Tulsi Gabbard, his choice for Director of National Intelligence. The polarizing Democrat-turned-Republican has sparked bipartisan concern on Capitol Hill due to her foreign policy views, particularly her views on Syria. Now, during her tenure in Congress, both Democratic and Republican aides were concerned Gabbard would leak information on a Syrian defector to someone associated with Bashar al-Assad's government, who Gabbard met with in an unannounced trip in 2017. Gabbard's friendly rhetoric towards Russia has even set off alarm bells for her own staff. According to ABC News, 3 former aides said that Gabbard regularly read and shared articles from the Russian news site RT, formerly known as Russia Today, which, of course, the U.S. intelligence community characterized in 2017 as the Kremlin's principal international propaganda outlet. When asked for a comment by ABC News, the Trump transition team dismissed the report as false. Now, Gabbard's policy views on Syria and Russia have prompted a group of nearly 100 former security officials to urge the Senate to carefully scrutinize her nomination. And then, of course, there is this guy, Kash Patel, Trump's controversial pick to run the FBI, who has made no secret of his desire to go after Trump's political enemies. But while Patel's nomination has been celebrated by Trump and his base, he reportedly has gotten a lukewarm reception from Senate Republicans, with several who have not yet committed to voting yes on him. This all comes just as, Trump's pick for Attorney General, former far-right Congressman Matt Gaetz, was forced to withdraw from consideration a few weeks ago when it was clear he did not have the votes from Senate Republicans. Trump and Republicans got the best outcome they could have possibly asked for by securing the White House, flipping the U.S. Senate and holding on to the House. And yet, the president-elect's picks are so divisive that he cannot even get members of his own party to commit to voting for them. Joining me now is Democratic Congressman Robert Garcia of California. Congressman, it's great to have you here in person and to see you. Let me get your reaction to all of this that's playing out with the president-elect's nominations, but more importantly, his defense secretary. And I want to play for you just a clip from the president-elect's interview with my colleague Kristen Welker. It's going to air tomorrow on Meet the Press. But here's what he had to say about his defense secretary nominee. Listen.
It looks like Peter's doing well now. I mean, people were a little bit concerned. He's a young guy with a tremendous track record, actually. He went to Princeton and went to Harvard. He was a good student at both, but he loves the military, and I think people are starting to see it. So we'll be working on his nomination along with a lot of others.
Since you bring him up, do you still have confidence in Pete Hegseth?
Yes, I do. I really do. He's a very smart guy. I've known him through Fox, but I've known him for a long time. And he's basically a military guy. I mean, every time I talk to him, all he wants to talk about is the military. He's a military guy.
Have you gotten assurances from senators that he's going to be confirmed? Do you think he can make it?
No. I think he will, yeah. I've had a lot of senators call me up saying he's fantastic.
You don't drink yourself.
No.
You've talked about how devastating drinking can be.
Yeah.
How concerned are you that the person who you picked for this top job at the Defense Department, at least according to those who've worked with him, has struggled with drinking?
But I've spoken to people that know him very well, and they say he does not have a drinking problem.
Your thoughts on that whole exchange? First of all, do you share his confidence that Pete Hegseth will get confirmed by the Senate? And also just the way that he's talking about the fact that he's spoken to people who know him that say that he doesn't have a drinking problem. Why don't you talk to him and find out for yourself whether or not he has a drinking problem?
I didn't get a lot of confidence out of Donald Trump there. I mean, I think, first of all, it's really clear that I'm not even convinced he's going to make it to the actual confirmation process. I think that more and more comes out every day. I mean, the email from the mother, reports from his Fox colleagues. Donald Trump is not even vetting people or have them go through an FBI check, the very basics for confirmation for all his nominees. He is unqualified to lead the government's largest department, which is the Defense Department. Tulsi Gabbard, crazy pick. RFK, insane nomination. These are people that have no business being in the government, and in fact are probably put there to destroy our agencies.
Speaking of how Republicans are responding to this, I'll get your thoughts to people like Chip Roy and Mike Johnson. Chip Roy dismissed the allegations against Hegseth. He called them indiscretions, his words, not mine. And then this is what Mike Johnson had to say about Hegseth on Fox.
Seems like the momentum moving the right way. Look, I like how he's approached it. We've all made mistakes in our lives, right? But we believe in redemption.
We believe in redemption. Interesting time to have redemption when you're being asked to lead an agency that has 3 million people under your leadership, almost $1 trillion budget, making decisions about sending men and women into harm's way.
We're talking about war and peace.
Yeah.
We're talking about the largest department in the federal government.
Right.
He has no experience running anything. He's been a Fox News commentator, which is fine, but to just pluck him out of nowhere with all of this baggage, all this history, is so irresponsible. And I didn't get a lot of confidence out of Donald Trump in that clip he showed. I hope he does not make the confirmation, and if he does, they should essentially not confirm him. I mean, he's not. He has no qualifications for the job.
But what does it say more about the way this incoming administration right now is kind of being run? Because we're getting some initial reports that it's kind of like Game of Thrones in there right now. And I'll share with you this NBC News reporting that there's, as you expect in any kind of new incoming administration, forces vying for power. You've got Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump basically competing for power with the chief of staff, Susie Wiles. And this is, according to a source NBC News spoke to, it's like Game of Thrones over there. I think Don Jr. has been trying to do things at times. It's like Susie will have a meeting and then Don Jr. will say something else. What do you make of the? We're not even barely a month into this thing.
And don't forget Elon Musk.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Elon Musk flying around following Donald Trump wherever he goes. He followed him to Paris, to France.
Yes.
And so I think this is obviously, it's pretty clear that Donald Trump, again, is going to have a reckless presidency. The fact that he's handing over Elon Musk essentially the keys to the federal government to somehow destroy our institutions through some department that is a fake department he's creating out of nowhere just shows how irresponsible he is with the seriousness of the moment. So he's not focused on actually helping people. He's focused on taking away benefits that people depend on. Social Security, Medicare, Department of Education. These are things that he and folks like Elon Musk and the billionaire friends are trying to roll back. And we've got to fight back really, really hard against Trump. And quite frankly, these new billionaires are in charge of the government.
Yeah, so let me ask you about how you do fight back, because as we just laid out, you obviously Republicans have control of the Senate, the White House, Congress. They certainly have a lot of momentum in the courts as well. What is it that people like yourself, Democratic leadership members of the House, are going to do, ordinary Americans can do, when they see these institutions come under threat?
Well, what you don't do is pledge to work with them. I think that this idea that we're somehow going to work with Elon Musk and Donald Trump in some sort of bipartisanship way to make the country better, they have no interest in making the country better. Their idea of working together with Democrats is steamrolling any sort of progress that we have made. And so I think, and a lot of younger members believe, that we have got to be in the fight. We've got to fight every single day, call them out. Look, the last Congress, we were in the minority. We still pushed back against a lot of terrible ideas. And so those of us, especially, for example, like myself and others that are on the Oversight Committee, we've got to investigate the Republicans. We've got to investigate in making sure that Elon Musk is not taking away people's hard-earned benefits. And we've got to be tough. We cannot just roll back and think this is going to be a kumbaya moment. This is a moment we've got to fight like hell for our rights and essentially for the government that provides people with so many important services.
Yeah, it's going to be a long 4 years. Congressman Robert Garcia, thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.